Hello guys, welcome to Geology Concepts. In this video, we'll see the solutions of section B for IT JAM Geology 2021. So these are multiple select questions. Where more than one options can be correct. And there are total 10 questions in this section. So let's see the first option. It says, which among the following statement is or are true? So the first option says, the downstream water velocity in a river channel increases upwards from the channel bed towards the water source. Okay, so the downstream velocity is the velocity towards the stream flow. Okay, so suppose this is the water bed and this is the stream flow direction. It says the water, the velocity is increasing from the bed towards the top of the water surface. Okay, towards the water surface. Okay, this is the statement. So you can see here this graph. This graph you can see depth versus velocity profile. You can see this is the bed and this is the top of the water surface. Okay, so why the velocity is increasing or decreasing? Because of the resistance which is offered by the material which is in contact with the water in that channel. Okay, so the material in contact is the bed and the sides of the valley, right? So that is why the minimum velocity is at the bottom and it is increasing towards the top. Okay, so the statement looks correct, right? But if you can see this graph, here also the velocity is increasing, but at a certain height or at a certain depth, you can say the velocity is maximum. Okay, at this point is maximum, and again it is decreasing slightly towards the water surface. Okay, so for a narrow valley, this graph can be true. Okay, the velocity profile can approach this graph because a lot of friction is experienced from the sides of the valley. Okay, for a narrow valley, but for a very wide valley in the center of the river, okay, the velocity profile can approach this graph also, where the effect of the friction of the sides of the valley will not be very prominent. Mm, but and there will be only some friction or drag from the air which is present above the water, which is very less. So we can assume that this graph is also true for wide channels. So you can see that there is a doubt in this option. So till then we can keep it aside and wait wait for what the institute has to say about it. The second option says the centrifugal force drives the sediment laden water outwards when the river channel meanders. Right. So, what is a meandering river? This is the meandering river, right? The water is flowing in this pattern. Okay, this is the water flowing. The water at this point is flowing in a circular motion, right? It, it's like a circular motion. So, wherever there is a circular motion, there is a centrifugal force related to it. Okay. So this is a circular motion, and suppose this is this string and this is the stone, and you are rotating it. At each and every point, a centrifugal force is acting outwards. Okay, just opposite to the center, right? And if the stone wants to leave, it will leave in this direction. Okay, this is a different topic. So a force is acting outwards. Okay, as you know that the meandering river is eroding this side of the channel, and there is deposition taking place on this side. So we can see that a centrifugal force is acting. So that is why the river wants to move here and it is eroding the side. So this option is absolutely correct. And let's see this third option. U-shaped valley is a common fluvial geomorphic feature. Okay. So it is a wrong statement because it is not a common fluvial, but it is a glacial feature. Okay, it is a common glacial feature. A V-shaped valley is a common fluvial feature. Okay, so this statement is wrong. The fourth option says attrition is more dominant in aeolian than in glacial environment. Okay, so what is attrition? Attrition is a phenomena in which there are grains, and these grains, during the movement of these grains, they collide with each other. Okay, they collide with each other, and they are eroded further. Okay, they are they are reducing in size further. So for that you need a lot of grains to collide, but that is available only in case of aeolian or fluvial also, but not in case of glacial environment. Okay, there is a whole, the complete glacier is moving, and there is a very less scope of alteration taking place. So this is absolutely correct, because attrition is more dominant in early. It is a correct statement. So the answer can be 1, 2, and 4, or it can be 2 and 4. So let's see the next question. Choose the correct statements out of the following. Okay. Shoreline shifts landward during transgression. Okay. So what is transgression? It is the sea level rise due to the sinking or subsidence of land. Okay. If the land is sinking or subsiding, the water level will, obviously the water will move towards the land, right? Or it can be due to the upliftment of ocean floor, right? Or the destruction of ocean floor under the subduction zones, because of which the capacity of ocean is reduced and the water moves towards the land, right? If the water holding capacity of the ocean is reduced, the water will obviously move towards the land. And if it is moving towards the land, obviously the junction, okay, the junction of water and the land, which is the shoreline, called the shoreline. Okay, this is the shoreline. This you can see here, transgression is taking place. This is the water, and this is the point where the water and land is meeting. Okay, this is the shoreline. Okay, so it will obviously shift towards the land as the water is increasing, as the sea level is rising. So you can say that the first option is correct, right? Now the second option is, incised river valleys form because of transgression. Okay, so incised river valleys is formed when the river starts to erode the valley even more deep. Okay, there was a previous depth of the valley, and now the river has started to erode it even more deep. Okay, and this is due to what? The base level fall. Okay, so what is the base level? Base level, first of all, it is the lower limit till where the river can erode. Okay, the lower limit where the river has the capacity to erode that particular strata or the rock, anything. Okay, so you can say that the ultimate, uh, the base level is coincides with the mean sea level. Okay, suppose this is land, this is the land, and it's moving like this, and this is the shoreline. Okay, this is the shoreline, and this is the mean sea level. Okay, mean sea level. So the base level would coincide with the mean sea level under the land. Okay, this is the land part. Now the river is flowing from this side. The depth of the valley would be like this, would be this much. Okay, because this is the base level. This is the level where the river will erode this land area. Okay, now suppose the sea level falls. Okay, now the mean sea level is here. The new mean sea level is here. If the mean sea level is here, now the base level will be reduced like this. Okay, now this river will start to erode the valley floor even more, and the depth will increase, and it will erode the floor till it reaches this base level. Okay, so it is happening when the sea level is falling, right? Which is not the case in for transgression, right? In case of transgression, the sea level was rising, right? So this option is absolutely wrong. Okay, this is the case of regression. Okay, regression is opposite of transgression, right? You can see the shoreline is shifting towards the sea in case of regression. Okay, so the third option is, delta deposits preserve the record of transgression. Okay, obviously the delta is the location of delta is between the land and the ocean, right? the junction between the land and the ocean. Okay, so obviously, whenever there is a sea level fall and rise, and it will affect the delta, and this is the transgression, and that is why the records will be preserved in case of delta. Okay, the records like what is the sequence of deposition, like you can see here that this is calcite and this is clay and sandstone. Okay, this is the sequence in case of transgression. Okay, so these are the records which is preserved in case of delta. Yes, it is correct. The last option is shoreline shifts seaward during transgression. Okay, so it is just the opposite of option 1, and as the option 1 is right, it is wrong. Okay, it should have been what? Regression. Okay, so the final answer is 1 and 3. Okay, so question 3 says fossils from which of the following invertebrate classes show pentameral symmetry? Okay, so what is the pentameral symmetry? It is a symmetry in which the body of the organism will be divided into 5 equal parts. Okay, so you can see this is the two organisms of the echinoderms, and these are the 5 parts. Okay, this part, okay, it will be divided into 5 equal parts like this. Okay, or you can say like this. In case of trilobita, okay, you might remember this is the cephalon and this is the thorax part and pygidium, right? So it has a what? Bilateral symmetry, right? Trilobite. Anthozoa, it has a radial symmetry. Okay, okay, the polyps in the corals have a radial symmetry, and cephalopod is, it also has a bilateral symmetry. Okay, there is a, this is the head, and remember these are the tentacles in the head, like that is why these are called cephalopods. And then there is a shell which is a plain spiral cell, and that is why this organism can be divided into 2 equal parts. Okay, this is gastropod. I mean, sorry, cephalopod. So the right answer would be echinoderm. This question is a factual question, just testing your learning power. Which of the following statements regarding hydrocarbon occurrence is are correct? Okay, so the first option is Gandhar field is in Cambay Basin. Okay, so this is correct. Yes, Gandhar field is in Cambay Basin, and Ankaleshwar field is also of Cambay Basin. Okay, Digboi field is in Assam Basin. Yes, Digboi field is of Assam Basin. This is also correct. Hydrocarbon occurs in limestone reservoir in Ankaleshwar field. Okay, so it is not limestone. Okay, the reservoir of rock of Ankaleshwar field is not limestone. It is sandstone and sandstone. Okay, so this option is wrong. Third is wrong. Fourth option is oil and gas occurs in Mesozoic reservoir rocks in Bombay High Field. Okay, so all the reservoir rock in the Bombay High Field is of a younger age than Mesozoic. Okay, so it is not Mesozoic, it is around Eocene and Miocene. Okay, so this option is also wrong. The final is options 1 and 2. Let's see this question. Which mineral among the following represent Ab2O4 composition? Okay, so for this you need to know the formula of all the minerals which are mentioned in this uh, these options. Okay, so I mean it's not very tough because the formula of all these 4 minerals is easy. So you might remember these. So ilmenite is FeTiO3, right? Magnetite is Fe3O4. Chromite is what? FeCr2O4. Okay, and spinel is what? MgAl2O4. As you can see, Ab2O4 matches with what? Chromite and spinel. Okay, so this is also just uh, I mean, you had to learn this. So 3 and 4 options are correct. Next question says, following are the statements regarding types of sandstone as per Patterson classification. Which is a correct statement out of the four? The first option says Grey contains more than 90% matrix. Okay, 90%. So here you can see, here is Grey. Okay, it is 15% matrix, and the wakes are from 15% to 75%. Okay, so more than 90% is absolutely wrong. So this option is wrong. The second option says Arcos contains more than 25% feldspar. Okay, so you can see here quartz, feldspar, and lithic fragments. You can see Arcos is present here, which is here. Okay, this part, and this part is more than 25% feldspar. Okay, 25% feldspar is at this line. Okay, and here it is more than 25%. So this option is absolutely correct. The third option is quartz ironite contains more than 95% quartz. Okay, so quartz is here, and you can see this 5 is mentioned here, so it's percentage of lithic fragments, which is 5%. Quartz is 95% here. So quartz ironite, you can see it's marked here, so it is 95%, and this option is also right. The fourth option says lithic ironite contains more than 25% lithic fragments. Okay, so you can see this is the 25% mark, and it increases from here to here. So it is more than 25% this part, and this is the lithic ironite. So this option is also correct. Finally, 2, 3, and 4. The next question is, which of the following statement is correct regarding ophitic texture? Okay, so what is the ophitic texture? Ophitic texture is when there is uh, a big pyroxene crystal, okay, typically of augite, and there are plagioclase lathes which are embedded inside it. Okay, it's like this. This is called a ophitic texture. Okay, so the first option says it is a variety of poikilotic texture. Okay, so what is the poikilotic texture? In this texture, there is a phenocryst. Okay, there is a big phenocryst, and there are inclusions in the phenocryst. Okay, there are inclusions. These are mineral inclusions. Okay, so you can see that it is somewhat similar to poikilotic. Okay, a lot similar, right? This is the big crystal, can be called as the phenocryst, and there are inclusions also. So this option is correct, and ophitic texture is a variety of poikilotic texture. The next option is plagioclase lathes are completely enclosed by large field pyroxene crystals. Yes, it is correct. Absolutely, I told you just now. And here you can see it is written completely. Yes, it is completely embedded. Okay, and if it is not completely embedded, right, it is called a suboptic texture. Okay, so but now in the question it is ophitic, so that's why it is absolutely correct. The third option says intergrowth occurs between quartz and alkali feldspar. Okay, so this obviously the second option is correct. So this should not be, and the intergrowth between quartz and alkali feldspar is a graphic texture. Okay, this is a graphic texture, so this is wrong. Okay, third option is wrong. Fourth option, it is a texture observed in peritrodite. It is not observed in peritrodite. The rock in which it is observed is dolerite. Okay, or diabase. Okay, both are same. Both are same rock. Okay, this is typically found in dolerite or diabase. Okay, now question number 8. The attitude of two limbs of a fold was measured as striking 4° north, dipping 85° easterly, and striking 30° north, dipping 60° easterly. Okay, So both are dipping in the same direction. Okay, one is a strike of 4 degree north and one is a strike of 30 degree north. Okay, dip is also 85 and 60 degree. So the question says which of the following is or are true for describing geometry of the fold. Okay, so we'll understand this question with the help of a stereograph. Okay, stereograph. So we have two limbs. Okay, now we can plot the limbs. Okay, this is 4 degree. Suppose this is 4 degree north, and this is 30 degree north. Okay, this is the strike, and there is a particular dip. Okay, this the dip of this bed is 85 degree easterly. Okay, this is east direction, and the dip of this limb also is towards the east, right? So this 60 degrees. Okay, as both the limbs are dipping in the same direction like this. Okay, or it can be like this. This type of fold is called an overturned fold. Okay, so you can see the third option, which is overturned, is absolutely correct. Okay, so as you can see, these two limbs are intersecting at this point. Okay, this point is the fold axis. Okay, this is the fold axis, and you can see as the fold axis is present here and not at the periphery, it is plunging. Okay, this fold axis is plunging, and as the fold axis is plunging, the fold is also plunging, right? And the second option, which says plunging, is also correct. Okay, so it must be an antiform or a synform, right? It can be, right? It has to be, right? A fold has to be an antiform or synform, or it can be a neutral fold also. But yes, here it has to be antiform and synform only. So what is happening is that we cannot infer whether it is an antiform or a synform. Okay, it is true for both the cases. Okay, it can be a synform also, it can be an antiform also. So for that, we can say 1 and 4, both the options are correct. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, all the options are correct. But the thing is that it can be either an overturned plunging antiform or it can be overturned plunging synform. Okay, so I mean they cannot, might not be correct together, it has to be one only. So it might be 2 and 3 also, both 1 and 4 might be wrong, but this is a better option, I would say. 2 and 3 might also be correct, but this is the better option, I think. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 is the right answer. The next question says a marine organic rich black shale with tiny pyrite crystals show complete absence of body or trace fossils. Okay, which of the following statement is what true? The first option says the sediments were deposited in low energy conditions. Okay, low energy conditions is what? In case of low energy conditions, the sediments of small size, okay, the clay particles, the size of clay, they get deposited. Okay, and as you can see that it is shale. Okay, that is a shale. We know that it must have been deposited in a low energy condition, so this is a right option. Okay, the deposition took place in disoxic or anoxic conditions. Okay, so we can see that there are pyrite crystals, and pyrite is a formula of FeS2. You can see it is not oxidized, it is reduced form. So we can say that the condition was anoxic or dioxic, and we can see that there is complete body or trace fossils, there is absence of body and trace fossils, so the conditions can be like this also, which is not favorable for the organisms. So this option is also correct. Third option says the rate of sedimentation was high. Okay, so the rate of sedimentation should also be high. Okay, as there is organic rich sediments. Okay, so if there is organic material present, it has to be I mean buried quickly so that it does not gets oxidized now. So the rate of sedimentation should also be high. This option also seems to be correct. The fourth option says the environment was stressful for survival of living organisms. And yes, it has to be right because it already says that complete absence of body or trace fossils is there. So the environment must be stressful. Okay, so this option is also correct. Okay, so we can see that all the four options are correct in this case also. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. The last question is, on the basis of the following schematic diagrams, choose the correct statement. Okay, so you can see this diagram. Here you can see S1 and S2 foliations. Okay, S1 foliation is the first foliation which is formed due to a particular deformation. Okay, these foliations formed during the metamorphism. Okay, due to the deformation taking place during metamorphism. So S1 foliation is the first phase of deformation, right? And S2 foliations form in the second phase of deformation. Okay, now these are the two crystals. Okay, there is a particular, I mean we have to observe the texture. Okay, we have to observe this foliation and we have to observe the shape of the foliation inside and around the mineral, okay, the crystal, to observe certain things. Okay, we'll see in these options. So first option says mineral X and Y predate matrix foliation S2. Okay, so you can see here this diagram, this one. Okay, so it is pre-syn and post-tectonic. Okay, post-tectonic what? The crystallization of that crystal. Okay, the crystallization of that crystal, whether it is pre-tectonic or it is syntectonic or post-tectonic. Whether the crystal was formed before the tectonic event happened, before the deformation happened, or it was during the deformation, or it was after the tectonic event. Okay, so you can see different type of patterns are produced in different cases. Okay, so the first option says mineral X and Y predate matrix foliation S2. Predate means they formed before the matrix foliation S2. Okay, but here you can see that X is here, right? X is here, and the S2 foliations are just as straight inside this crystal as they are outside. Okay, there is no change inside the crystal, right? So this means that the foliations were present beforehand and the crystals developed on it, taking the shape of the foliations. The mineral inclusions, they took the shape of these foliations which was already present, right? So this option is wrong. Okay, the second option says mineral Y grew during or after the development of internal foliation S1. Okay, now it is S1. Okay, so in this case Y predate matrix foliation S2 should have been correct. Okay, but as it was X also, it is wrong. Okay, Y, in case of Y you can see that the crystal is present here and the the foliation is like this. Okay, there is a shadow which is produced due to this crystal. Okay, so this crystal was present beforehand and after that there was a deformation or shearing which happened, and due to or anything, shearing or folding or flattening, anything, and that created this type of pattern. Okay, so this was half correct. Okay, this option is wrong. You can see the S1 foliations inside the crystal Y. Okay, and these are absolutely straight, right? Very straight. like this, right? Like this. So we can say that the crystal Y was formed before, sorry, was formed after or during the development of interpolation S1. Like you can see in this case, post tectonic. In case of post tectonic, you can see that this is the mineral, and there are absolutely straight lines inside the minerals taking the shape of these foliations, right? So here the foliations are present beforehand, and now the crystal has developed over it. Okay, so this is very similar to this diagram, and it says that the S1 foliation was present beforehand and the mineral grew during or after the development of interfoliation S1. Okay, so this option seems to be correct. Now the third option says mineral X and Y post date matrix foliation S2. Okay, so post date means they formed after the matrix foliation S2. Okay, so as you can say, as you can see that this option was wrong. It was half correct. So this option is also half correct and is wrong. Okay, because it is correct for X but not for Y, because Y was present before, and that is why the S2 foliation developed like this. Okay, around this crystal, because it was already present before, right? So it does not post date. Y predates, X post dates, right? The last option says mineral X grew after the development of matrix foliation S2. Okay, now it is completely correct. Okay, grew after the development of matrix foliation S2 or post date. Okay, so as I said, it was half correct, it was half correct, now it is fully correct. The fourth option is correct. So finally the answer should be 2 and 4. Okay, so this was all in section B, and I hope I made things clear, and I hope you did well in your exams. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.